guys, Alex Simpson here from Apex Racing Team. We're at Corby and the Apex Racing Sim Centre, Daytona 24. This is the second year that we've been able to use the Sim Centre, and we've really got as many people here as we can this time. So just thought I'd give you a tiny little tour of kind of what's going on. So you're upstairs in mission control at the moment. So we've got a social media team that are kind of working on here, trying to get some content and some shots throughout the day. We've got our strategy team, so we've got Mark and George. We'll be a bit quiet as we enter into the TV studio. Obviously we are live on Twitch right now. For our sins, we have let Kevin and Luke take the helm on the mics. I don't really know what we're doing with that. Lee has been kindly controlling that Twitch stream all day in our production suite. Right, I think we've only got a few people driving at the minute, maybe a few testing. So yeah, follow me and we'll take you around. But yeah, so this is our ART room, which is where the full-timers always drive from. Got Luca in the car at the moment. Currently sitting first and second in GTD. Over to the right here, we've got Peter, just getting himself ready for his first stint in the GTP category. Yeah, it's our full-time squad room, if you'd have it. Yeah, keep on following me and we'll take you through to what is normally our customer area, but all the drivers are in full use of the rigs today. We've got Gordy, say hello Gordy. Yeah, so Gordy had his first stint, Michele getting ready for his stint, Danny Civisabo. Unfortunately Danny got caught in that horrible checkup. Obviously those rigs are available to hire. You can have your whole team here as well and use the whole centre, the sort of spotting stations upstairs, any of these rigs. If you just follow me though, the very last little section that we have here is just kind of like our little chill out area. We've got Marcus and we've got Patrick. They've just finished their stints, and yeah, so we've got the Rennsport broadcast going on at the moment, and yeah, I dare say by the morning this place will be filled with pizza boxes and takeaways and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, a nice little chill out space for everyone to enjoy while the race is going on as well.
After a dominant start to the season for Alessandro Porta, he found his first setback last week at Daytona when he collided with championship rival Zach White. Tonight we head into the second half of the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy season, and the Italian will be looking to get his championship hopes back on track. Welcome to the Apex Racing TV esports studio. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is David Sampson, and we are visiting for this round 7 of the championship Suzuka tonight. This is a circuit which is unquestionably the best circuit in the world, David. I always say it, and is fantastic to be here. It's not visited enough on iRacing, and it's just wonderful. I'm so glad we're here tonight.
I agree with some of your points. Yes, it has been too long. It is a good track. It's not the best track. It's a great track.
We've found in recent weeks how if you bring up best circuits or worst circuits, everyone has an opinion. So I'm curious as to what the chat will respond with. But it is the best circuit in the world, and we are looking forward to it. Let's have a quick look at the calendar that we have for this season. We are in the second half of the championship now. This is round 7 of the season, and then after this we've got, well, overall the whole calendar is fantastic, but Sebring, Bathurst, Aragon, Montreal and Okayama to round out the season. A few circuits that maybe near the end of the season the drivers may not be 100% familiar with, admittedly. And let's have a quick reminder as well what happened last time out, and I've already mentioned it, the Porter-White incident. And this was a massive shame for Alessandro Porta and for White, to be fair, but particularly for Porta because this was a freak disqualification. I don't think there's any other corner on the sim where a disqualification like this could happen.
No, agreed. Oh, yeah, rewatched it. Was tough. It was a tough incident. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't reviewing that. But the contact model, it was Daytona. It was a long race. Yeah, what a shame because they were both. They're the leading 2, I think, at the point of the accident, right, for the championship?
I think with drop scores, yeah.
Yeah, so, yes, it makes it more interesting for us, but, yeah, what a shame with the disqualification, because we know he's quick enough to at least get some of those position backs and still score strongly, but he did make an effort to not get disqualified. He just didn't go back far enough, because, look, if they enter the grass right at the beginning and they re-enter halfway through the next corner, so I can understand why it happened. But yeah, like you say, it's a unique penalty at that corner.
It is, and what I would say, there was no penalty given for that either. It was ruled to be a racing incident, and so there was no penalty given for that crash. So neither of them will carry anything going into this round, at least. There was also a fantastic last lap battle, and it was a brilliant effort from Bokler to try to break this Racing Lab Esports 1-2. He was able to get up into second place on this penultimate lap. However, it was a slowdown right at the end when he was making that last push to the line, which denied him any chance at perhaps passing Andersma.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Obviously, we've got more of a regular race format for this time. It's been a while. We've been doing the heat. Would you call it heat races and then the long one?
Double race.
Double race. Okay, I understand.
But there was the slowdown, just a slight cut track. I'm sure many people would have had that at Daytona. And of course, Meyer was in the lead, and then he let his teammate go right at the line and took second place. Rosseth took his first win of the season. Unfortunately, Eric is ill tonight, so he is not around tonight and will not be able to get back-to-back race victories. But after that result, and after me being all doom and gloom about Alessandro Porta, he's still in the lead of the championship. And when you take into consideration the drop score, he's looking very strong. Andrea Dallaval still with a 100% top 5 record this season. 7 race starts, 7 top 5 finishes for him. Zach White moves up the standings. He's missed around already this season, so when you bring into consideration one of the 2 drop scores, which we are now doing, White moves up into 3rd place. They're the main 3, I would say, who are really challenging for the title.
100%. Still a long season, a lot of points. Yeah, I agree. Who's the chap that was in podium every time but outside once?
Dallaval.
It was Dallaval. Yeah, I'm late season seeing what he can achieve. He's been strong every race, not shown to get caught up in anything. Not the best qualifying, not the best race starts, but scoring huge, and now we're seeing how huge that is. So yeah, but I think it's going to be really close in the pro class.
Yeah, in the non-30-minute races, in like the 60-minute or longer races, top 4 in every race. Overall, top 5 in every race. He's been really consistent. In the Pro-Ams, at the moment, we've got still with Michael Hooper, who's been in incredible form and just keeping up that form back at Daytona. He's really looking quite infallible, Hooper, and even though it's only 26 points at the moment, that could be tricky to cut down. Del Piccolo there in second place. Hutchinson was back on form last time out. Those 3 pulling away. What I would say is that there is another drop score. It's 12 rounds and there's 2 drops. We've only applied one of the drop scores, and so the drivers who have had 2 bad scores so far, if they have a great final 6 rounds, they're right back into it. So whilst the gaps may look big, it is certainly recoverable for them. And we can have a look at the AMs as well. Last time it was Atanasov who managed to take the race win and is looking fairly close there. Cook, who I think has finished second in the AMs in about 5 of the 6 races so far this season. He's up there on top ahead of Agard and Atanasov.
Yeah, very tight in all the championships. When does the first drop points kick in? Like,
so we've applied one of them now.
We've applied one of them. Okay, yeah, so it's still nice and close. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, they should do that in other formats, you know? Formula 1, having a drop score.
I mean, 1991, was it? I think they got rid of the drops. Of course, Prost scored more points than Senna in 88. Of course. But Senna won via the drop scores. So, yeah, it did make quite a big difference. We can also look at the Teams Championship as well.
This is where it's not close.
Yeah, this is sort of more... We struggled to talk about this one, honestly. I guess Racing Lab, last time they got a 1-2, so they got a ton of points, and they're up to 3rd in the Teams Championship. Could chase down Delachev's Automotive, but Absolute Motorsport with Porto and Dallaval miles ahead still, and they could not turn up at the next few rounds, and they'd still probably be in the lead of the championship. Let's have a look at the track then, and the reason why I say this is the best circuit in the world, David, is because every corner is perfect. Like, you can't improve any of the corners. You go through turn 1, nice and banked, really high speed, but satisfying. Then you go through the it's uphill, so you got that little bit more of grip, and the way that you just flow the car, and it gradually slows down, and then it starts to wind up again into Degner, the 2 Degner corners, which are so technical. Thread the needle, just clip the curves ever so slightly. I could go on for the entire circuit, but it's just you can't improve on it.
There's too many S's.
There's not too many S's.
There's too many.
It's the perfect amount of S's.
No. There's too many. I agree. It's got a nice flow, but there's just one too many.
There's one too. I mean,
sorry.
Okay. But yeah, it's figure of 8 as well, which is just a cool element. Why are there not, well, you can understand why there's not more figure of 8 circuits, but it's an easy way to make your circuit look cooler than it is. The new Saudi circuit that they're building in the middle of the desert around a resort, that's like 7 miles long, and that's got a figure of 8, and you're not surprised because figure of 8 is just a cool idea, you know?
I agree with you there. Yeah, I mean, I like Suzuka. It is a good track. It always, every time I go back there, which does feel like a long time at iRacing with the gaps between for some reason, I always forget how long a lap it is. In my head, I store Suzuka as a medium length, but it's full length. You know, we're talking nigh on 2-minute lap times, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many laps longer when it comes to really world motorsport in terms of like the circuits. Obviously, you can go to places like.
For some reason, it never sits in my head as one of those long laps.
That's an odd one, because to me it does feel, because there's so. I mean, again, there's so many good corners to it that you think, well, it must be a long lap. It's frighteningly short, if anything, when it comes to that regard. Welcome to everyone in chat, by the way. RJ, thanks for joining. He's very much supporting Agard, who of course we highlighted earlier on, one of the top AM drivers so far this season, and Stegar as well, supporting Racing Lab Esports with Agard and Maya. Unfortunately, Voseth, of course, like I said earlier on, missing this round of the championship. But we will transfer over into qualifying, and we'll just show you an advert, and then we'll be trackside for the 30-minute session. Welcome to Suzuka. We are currently 7 minutes into our 32-minute qualifying session. The amateurs, of course, having the opportunity to go out on circuit first, and they're coming to roughly the end of their session. I will give a quick thanks to Apex Racing Academy and to Apex Racing Simulators that you just saw trailers for just a moment ago. Of course, Apex Racing Simulators is where we are based right now in Corby in the UK, and you can try out one of our 8 customer rigs if you want to visit the Sim Centre. So do visit apexracingsim.com in order to book yourself a place, and of course a great opportunity to check out our VRS equipment, and you can also purchase VRS equipment as well from the Apex Racing Sim store. But yeah, here we are 8 minutes into qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, we're going to see that leap, I think, from the pro drivers. You did mention, and you was very correct. It is quite a technical circuit as well. There's lots of times to be gained in the first sector, especially here as well with the curb cutting and traction off of this left-hand curb. And I find this right-hand turn has changed since the last time I hit. I feel like I could always attack it and get a good exit. Now it feels like all I do if I attack it in any of these GT3s, I was doing the bop, is just rear instability and low traction coming off it. I actually found setting myself up for a wider line to have a clean escape out of that last corner was the quickest way to go. But that's just iRacing with the curb context. I think has changed a lot iteratively over time. But no, it is a good track. It usually is quite dangerous on lap 1. Doesn't get mentioned enough, but it does get quite tight and twisty in the S's. And if anything happens ahead of you, as that's an off track, then it's very difficult to avoid.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a very narrow start to the lap here. And yeah, it's just a narrow circuit, and especially the pit straight is so wide that it really does funnel in through this first part of the lap. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a block in qualifying. I think that's a block and an unsafe rejoin, so that could well be a penalty potentially. That was... I think that was Thomas Burnt. No, it wasn't Burnt. Apologies, Burnt. It was Delat. He was rejoining.
Hello, Mark, and hello. Larson's asking is Maya on the startup list tonight.
Yes, he is.
He is, yeah. I thought I saw his name.
Driving the BMW, which apparently is not good on this circuit because of understeer. But you, I guess, will know a bit more about that, David.
Yeah, it's not the car. The Merc was the hardest one for me around here. There was just no benefit to using it, unfortunately. All of its traits just didn't suit this tight, twisty, technical track for me. For me, it was the Porsche and Lambo. Actually, the Lambo coming out king. But I'm sure, obviously, the Audi's the same beast, really. But the Lambo just had, for me, a clear advantage. With the Porsche sitting very close as well. Ferrari wasn't bad, just wasn't good. And, yeah, the Merc and BMW, just inherently with their understeer nature and large, heavy feel to them. Very tricky at this track. So Delat gets on in this. It's missed the apex, which usually means obviously he's underdriving quite a lot there. Because if you miss the apex and you don't get the off track, then you're not going quick enough.
Sure.
That's a hard corner, that double. What's it called? Spoon, yeah.
Yeah, and the curb on the outside is absolutely treacherous. You hit it just wrong, and it's very easy to spin the car around, particularly in single-seaters.
And this curb here, same. Yeah, this guy's underdriving. Maybe it's an outlap. Yeah, the outside curb as well. If you catch it wrong, it will fling you. Let's see how he attacks this last curb.
Here comes Ludovic. I think this might be an improvement, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him ahead of Kasauskas in 9th place. There he goes across the line. And, oh, it wasn't an improvement. So he stays in 10th place. Interesting that there is no Adam Hedgecock tonight. He has been around all the evenings so far. Driver for Altitude Esports, just like this man, Mark Hutchinson, and he needed some consistent results, and he has been banging in the consistent results. Apart from Daytona, I guess, where he was involved in something early on. But I think 3rd place in the championship going into this round, he may well be slipping back after this. So yeah, disappointing. Not see Adam out there, but we have still got 11 AMs. Apologies, Mads Lewitson, the one amateur, he did not set a time in qualifying.
I was just looking back at my lap. It was a 59.183 on race fuel, lap 1 in the Lambo. But obviously these guys are going to be much more prepared than I am and fully sending it on quali fuel. As we see Robert Van Horn, who was in chat earlier, driving, what team is that? Samsung Sim Sport. I think it's my favourite team. That and Apex, I think.
They have a bad reputation, haven't they?
Excuse me. Have they really?
Yeah, I think maybe they're... well, I mean, you should feel bad because if you get, or when you get involved in a scandal,
yeah,
then that team, they're going to be in an absolute shovel, aren't they? You know, you really need to think about your brand and making sure you don't get involved in any allegations or anything.
Understood. Thank you for the advice. No, that team runs itself. There's like yeah,
but it's got your name on it. That's the point. Like,
yeah, but they could just rub that off and put a different logo on and.
Well, yeah, that's what they'll have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. They could just drop the rest of it and just call it Sam Simsport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just drop the Persoid.
Because I am going to become Nick Horn's. We discussed this on
of
Apex
course,
last week. I am going to become Nick Horn's team manager. So, yeah, we might well see Sam Simsport coming up soon. By the way, Ketzel Larson was the one who was asking if Anders Meyer was on the grid, and it's very glad to have you back, Ketzel. Of course, F3 driver from seasons gone by, very experienced. So, yeah, great to see you engaging in the YouTube chat, and wishing all the drivers the best of luck. But our Pro-Am drivers currently on their fast lap at the moment, their first fast lap of this session, and Van Horn's getting a little bit of a draft from the Olympus esports car just ahead. I think that might be Rashiani. However, Ubatali has dropped it, and he does the right thing at towing back and getting out of everyone else's way.
Yes, indeed. He's got Thomas in chat saying the owner ain't that great of a guy. Thank you, Thomas. He drives for Samsung Simsport. He's letting me know how he feels.
Yep.
It's great.
I mean, if only real life drivers had the guts to say that.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Like, you know what, Toto is not actually a good guy.
It would make... That's it. That's it. We've got to sell Formula 1 to Netflix. Then it would be like that.
Yeah. Del Piccolo goes to the top, but Hooper,
With neither love.
who it's very much made a residency at the top of the Pro-Am standings. He now
Avazani with
goes
a
top.
lap almost matching him.
Sketchy with the Florida livery in 10th place for now. Of course, that will become a bit more relevant when we head to Sebring next week.
Ah, what a track. I cannot wait for next week. Cannot wait. You're going to have to pry me out of the sim rig to come here on Friday. Pry.
What is the reason for your love of Sebring? How much would you say it's based in terms of the sim, and how much would you say it's based in terms of the real life events? That
Yeah, it's tough because I know I can't break away from that because of Petit Le Mans and Road Atlanta. I don't know. I do. It is one of the best multi-class tracks. Le Mans too long and too wide.
Sure.
You know, every track has their nuance about them, but for something about Sebring multi-class just feels like there's 3 brilliant races going on at the same time. I don't know. There's an element of risk reward. You can really cut curbs. You can take high-speed corners. I've just always enjoyed endurances, and I think that's the key for me. I love endurance races at Sebring, and I love sprint races at Sebring. I love multi-class races at Sebring, and I love the single format sprint races. It's just one of those tracks that ticks it all for me. iRacing does have a habit of just, I imagine next week's a night race. It's the way. For some reason, iRacing loves to show off Sebring at night.
I think it is. I think Daytona's the only night race we have.
I meant the officials, but yeah.
Oh, we copy the officials, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, apart from Daytona, because I think Daytona officials may have been in the day as well, and we're like, come on, we need to have one night race this season.
Evening Lone in chat. Sam's finding out. Avanzini's pitting. So their time's up, right? 32. Yeah, so we've got our Pro-Ams heading out.
It is at
22.
6. No.
Oh, wait.
9:30 in the morning is
Oh, okay.
Sebring. But yeah, these guys are got another 3 minutes of their session remaining. Del Piccolo, who was briefly on top of the standings, now down into 3rd, with Avanzini improving into 2nd place, only half a tenth off Hooper in his Ferrari. Now could see a decent variation of cars. It's not like last night in ARL prototypes where we had, I think, 18 of the top 20 in qualifying being the Acura.
I assume it's free.
Multiple seconds a lap faster.
Yeah, that car's... Now we're learning about these cars and the BOP. It has too much downforce. The least drag.
Yeah.
It's brilliant on fuel. Its ERS is too strong, especially compared to something like the BMW. It's beyond ridiculous. Plus iRacing, it's terrible to drive, so please just make it the worst car. We won't even have to talk about it. The others are so fun to drive. Well, they have their differences. I'm not a fan of the Acura. This has to be an outlap. Okay, yeah. Taking it nice and slow.
Gattiani having a good time of it. In 4th place at the moment, top of the Porsche drivers. Eric in chat saying go racing lap. Shame not to see you out there, Eric. But yes, hopefully you're getting well soon. I think he's bedridden at the moment. As to the top of the stands goes Ubertali. That's 300ths of a second faster. They're getting close to your time, David. It's not quite beating it yet.
Yeah. But I was chilling, no practice, and on race fuel. So.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, I'm saying they're doing well to get anyone.
Yeah, correct. Yes, correct. Thank you for mentioning that. Sebring #1 in chat, correct? Well, I don't know if it's #1. I think Road Atlanta's #1. Road Atlanta, because Road Atlanta, everything I said about Sebring applies to Road Atlanta as well. I love it for endurances. I love it. Endurances is a little bit more high blood pressure.
Yeah.
There was a Petit Le Mans where I accidentally wiped out a 1/3 of the GT3 field in Petit Le Mans. I didn't mean to. I clipped a GT3 like so
I don't
small.
think they would say it was a clip.
And that GT3 went on to just wipe out. I mean, it was absolute carnage behind. I was getting, let's say, what's the opposite of fan mail in my DMs?
Hooper managed to move back up to the top of the standings, 300ths of a second. They're just shaving hundredths of a second off the times at the moment. There's not much of improvements coming in. Jonathan Cook still will remain pole sitter in the amateur category. which is more good points for our current amateur championship leader. But the drivers are now pretty much on their last laps. Once the 20 minutes is up, they have to complete the lap that they are on. And so Ubertali can still improve. Avanzini, Del Piccolo, Rattiani, Loritzen is coming across the line right now to set another lap time. And so you do expect to see that timing tower to shuffle a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what the pros can do. We usually see a jump, and I don't expect no different here. There's a lot of risk reward for lap time here, especially getting close to the off tracks in the last, the last 2 sectors. There's a lot of time to be gained. It's the Degners. This is the Degners, the 2 Degners. This track, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, was it the exit at Degner 1? You can absolutely fly over the outside curb. There is an off track there, but it's just a case of balancing it right. So you love this track, but you like this last chicane?
Yeah.
Little hesitation, though.
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation, but I think it works, though. It's just about wide enough. It's almost getting a little bit too... But, like, the entrance is treacherous. Like, it is a treacherous corner as Mola moves up to 11th place. But, yeah, I mean, I think the last time I raced here, actually, I think it was the season finale of Chaz Jacot's Formula 1. I did wipe out someone, I think, for 3rd place in the championship. But I got 3rd place in the championship. That's what matters. But yeah, I did murder someone on the last lap, I think, in order to get there. And so it can be difficult, and there can be controversy there, as of course we've seen in real life. Rattiani moves up to 3rd place in the same. That is a really good time there for Rattiani. He really seems to be strong on this circuit. Loritzen, I don't think this is an eligible lap for. So maybe it is. Maybe he just got across the line in time. He's not saying any personal best sector. Well, 1 personal best sector out of 5. So I doubt this is going to be an improvement anyway.
Yeah. Do you remember the season where we could take 130R flat? I mean, flat on the inside, let alone flat. Glad to see that all gone now. Yeah, this is this horrible exit curb. Do you not remember it being like that?
I personally didn't race the GT3s. I think whilst that was going on, as Loritzen doesn't improve. But yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know how it compares to real life. I think the GT3s still are probably a bit too quick, but they were getting to like GT grip levels at one point.
They were GT lap times, GT top. Yeah, they were.
I mean, is it still flat through Eau Rouge?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean that shouldn't be the case, as far as I'm aware. At least, feel free to correct me if you can go flat in real life. But as far as I'm aware, that's not something that.
I had to think for a second. I was trying to think of all the Suzuka corners I know. Eau Rouge, I was thinking Eau Rouge. But yeah.
So here comes our pro drivers saying their lap times. I will give a quick shout out to a new series that's starting on Apex Racing League and Apex Racing TV, the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship. And you can go register to that over on apexracingleague.com. And yeah, there is a fair few grid places already taken for that. We've got the elimination heat format being used and visiting 10 different circuits following the official series as well. And so if you're a fan of Formula 4 racing or just single-seater racing generally, it's certainly the series to go for. So do go to apexracingleague.com to sign up. You can also sign up to this series. You can sign up to the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship as well. I think you can sign up to the Apex Racing League Porsche Cup as well. Albeit I don't know why you'd want to do that because there's only 1 round of the season to go.
That's a good point.
Although you might be making a guest appearance
in
Porsche Cup, so everyone, unless you're David, it doesn't really make sense to register.
I can't resist. It's Porsche Cup in Milan. It is one of my favourite combos, actually. Definitely. Imola's the track I actually got my 5K in GT4, strangely enough. Many moons ago. Yet to get my 6K. It's just because streaming, I like to keep the entertainment factor.
Oh, sure,
I don't want to move up too quickly.
Yeah, you need that road to 6K.
Correct.
And I mean, you could make a road to 7K, but you just eking it out, you know, maybe do 1 a year.
2030, yeah, it's just a case of timing with the entertainment factor. Oof. Porter's really pushing there. Let's see how much Kirby grabs on this inside. Very minimal, and avoids.
So Toff's currently setting the pace. Good to see Jacob Toff's back after missing a few rounds recently. He was also nowhere back at Daytona, so he seems to be back on form. Porter only to 2nd place. Hasn't been fantastic in qualifying recently. but he is ahead of his teammate Dalaval.
That's what they're doing, 58.7s. Seems good. Zach with 59.1. The usual names at the front. Toffs, Porter, Dalaval, and Zach at the moment. Quite a few people out on lapping. Greg says, hi David, from behind the work computer instead of racing rig, unfortunately. Ah, that's a shame.
Greg. Well, I mean, to be fair, it is like mid-afternoon in the US, isn't it? So
I would just explain to the boss, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Just bring a work,
Well, that's what I
bring a
do,
work
yeah.
to rig, yeah.
So yeah, Toffs a tenth of a second clear. Of course, one back at VIR did Toffs, but has not. And of course, he could have won back at Spa as well, but unfortunately got wiped out from the lead. But yeah, it was just nowhere at Daytona. It was so odd. Maybe he just wasn't doing Daytona 24, and so he didn't practice. But it was really strange to see him so far off. Anders Meyer apparently has got no prep for tonight, so our runner-up last time out. Having no preparation for this round, so don't expect Meyer necessarily to be on top form, but I still think unprepped Meyer will be good enough to get in the top 10.
I don't know if he genuinely means complete unprep and just the, how long is the practice session attached to this?
I don't think he's even done the practice session.
Oh, because Suzuka's just one of those like, I don't know if it was me, but it's been a while since I was here. I just jumped onto the track, I'm starting my stream, and I was so off pace at first. Just even understanding the speed levels I could carry through Spoon and 130R, how much you could cut on the last chicane.
White currently in 6th place. Bantanese, who's always strong in qualifying, up there in 5th. Utortus, who's always strong in qualifying, up in 4th. There's a lot of big hitters. Maybe when it comes to the race, we don't necessarily anticipate the likes of Utortus and Bantanese to stay at the front all the way through. But in qualifying, they are more than a match for anyone. Anders Meyer, up to 6th place. That's good, especially seeing that he's in the BMW. And but still lacking that 0.4 of a second that he needs, as many of the drivers still on their outlaps and about to go for another quick lap. And of course, they do get the whole 32 minutes, but once that 32 minutes is up, they will have the qualifying advance.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, they've got, no, yeah, they will have two, it's going to be close, two push laps.
I think they're only doing one, well, at least in their first stint, they only did one lap and then towed back to the pits. So I'm not sure if the tyres are necessarily going to be good for 2 laps.
Really not sure. I wasn't doing any sort of quali prep. It is a long lap, as long as you're careful on your out lap, I think it'd be okay.
Here comes Drucker, who was up in the top 8 for much of the last race. It was his best round of the season. Yet to set a lap time though, after I think invalidating his first lap. So that's a amount of pressure on this effort coming up.
Zach heading out of pit road. Come on, mate. Yeah, Toff's looking strong up front. A 10th clear of Porter and Dalaval, Utortus. And then 2.5 tenths Van der Nesse. Meyer 6th, 3.8 tenths off. Yeah, a bit more of a spread at this track, but I did expect it being a bit more of a technical track. It's not just a case of hitting a few braking markers like Daytona and, you know, keeping a good line. This is very tricky. How much you send on curbs.
Sure.
Even this hairpin is not the easiest hairpin. The rear does, like, you get a lot of rotation from that rear, but sometimes you get a little bit too much. You're not going to spin, but your lap time's in the bin.
Shouts out to one of the sponsors for this series, by the way, Apex Racing Academy, who provide setups and track guides and data packs for all of these GT3 cars in both IMSA and the VRS GT Sprint series. So if you want to get faster in these cars, or the single-seater cars, touring cars, rallycross cars, do visit apexracingac.com and get yourself a subscription. We do definitely recommend it. Toff's momentarily off the circuit, but I don't think that matters too much. Porter now pushing, and this will be his last attempt in this session. I think his second place would be pretty good for him, beating Dalaval, who is his nearest championship contender, and of course beating Zach White as well, who he might be most fearful of his championship contender, seeing that White is from a different team to himself. Yeah, it's would be nice to get that pole position as Delaval. He now moves to the top of the standings, half a tenth clear of tops. Bokler up into 5th position. Very strong performance last time out at Daytona.
Very strong, yeah. He had some tribulations during the race, if I remember rightly, though. Was that the race before?
Well, he ended up in 3rd.
Yeah.
He got that slowdown on the very last lap of the race, which
of course, that was it. That's what I'm trying to remember. He was up to P2 and went for ascending. Well, not for ascend.
Like, just floored
yeah.
it going out of the bus stop, trying to get on the power early.
Yeah, it was very impressive, actually. He did look very hungry. And that's a good lap time. No joke.
This lap for Porter. Oh, he's lost too much. He's lost it in Sector 4. I mean, it looks like Delaval's Sector 4 is absolutely unreal. He's into the 18s. And Porter's about 3/10 down on this lap. This is, I'm not sure if this is even going to be an improvement. Tortoise moves up to 2nd. Porter, this will probably only be good enough for the 2nd row, I think. And he stays where he is. It was not a good middle part of the lap for Alessandro Porter. And he's vulnerable now to drop further down the standings. Anders Meyer, who is getting extra experience every lap, but he is clearly not pushing. I think the big one is Zach White. He was the last one to start a lap, and he set 2 personal best sectors in the first 2 sectors, and he's actually up on Delaval's time so far.
Yeah, not the best sector 3 from Zach, but certainly not a bad sector. So yeah, this is going to be good.
Let's see what he moves up to 3rd.
Just got to let this track out. Patient. Very patient. Push out all the way out to that green curb. Very nice. Go left to the shortest line. Perfect. And then lets it bank back out. And then just full yeet and hold on to your ass as you come through here.
Oh, Toffs goes back to the top 1.5 tenths to a second clear of the rest.
Look at that, yeah.
White, this isn't looking like pole position lap time. I think this will probably be around Puotti, maybe between Puotti and Porter. Honestly, that's a little bit of an estimation, but his Sector 5 was not great. That is Jukea moving up to 6th place. White crosses the line, and he now takes 6th place, so it wasn't between Puotti and Porter. He could not beat Porter, and it could well be a renewal of the fight which ended in disaster last time out between the Italian and the New Zealander.
Correct. I'm just trying to see where on the lap it went wrong. It seems like the last sector. On from the replay, it looked fine, but yeah, it was in the last sector.
So we transfer over to the race session. It's a short formation lap at this circuit, and it's Jacob Toffs who will be leading us away. Delaval lines up in 2nd place. Then it is Tortoise with another strong qualifying performance. Puotti, you could see him up there. He's actually top of the Audi drivers. Then it's Porter, White, Jukea, Bokler, Van der Nesse and Torquio in 10th. There's Anders Meyer. He did miss out on a top of 10 in the end. Caserta in 12th. Hooper top of the Pro-Ams again. Ubertali is alongside him. There's Graman, Jabuco, Battiani, Avanzini, Sampaoli and Pagnini rounding out the top 20. Then it's Del Piccolo, Cook, who was top of the AM drivers once again. Luritzen, Sketchley, Agard, Van Horn, Mola, Merle, Hancock's, Carinante, Hutchinson down in 31st place. A little bit of a disappearance of form once again for Hutchinson. He really has been very up and down this season. Schwab, Bermanis, Burnt, Kasaroskis, Dalat, Broderick and Luritzen rounding out our 38 cars.
Yeah, very good quality. Very good quality. Very short pace lap here from Brightly. T1 is one of those where you can get P1 from T1. It's just hyper dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, later on in the late Apex, we've got a couple of good clips actually of moves around this circuit, and one of them was outside of T1.
It's tempting.
Esque.
It's tempting.
But yeah, and the way that if you dip a wheel onto sort of the ungrippy part on the outside, you just go wider and wider and wider. So
yeah, and that's that radius feels everlasting if you're on the outside. It feels like you have to turn for forever.
So Toss should be safe from that. He just needs to make sure he gets a good launch. He did get a good launch back at VAR. That was his other pole position so far this season, I believe. I don't think he took pole at Spa, but he was leading for much of the race. As he pulls us away now, the Porsche pace car leading the Porsche GT3 that leads the field. And of course, Tofts with probably very little chance at the title at this point. He's not got much to lose compared to the likes of Delaval. Of course, he's finished in the top 4 in all of the 60-minute races so far this season. And of course, Porter and White desperate will White be to claw back some points in tonight's race. Here we go then, Tofts holding back the field significantly. He now puts his foot down. He gets a fantastic launch from the rest of the field. Utortas wasn't really able to take advantage of it from 3rd place. Looks like Delaval will remain in 2nd, and there are very few changes so far in the top 8. A little bit of a post up for Torquio and Caserta and for Bokler as well, but the top 8 are all in single file as they head into turn on this first time. Meyer on the inside there. Ooh. There has been that is Van der Nesse, and I think it may have been Bokler maybe who he collided with, and Van der Nesse after a strong qualifying has it all undone.
Yeah, we didn't get to see what happened, but it looked like the Porsche went down the inside and tracked out from what we saw in the aftermath. I can't imagine what else it could have been. That's an awesome camera angle. Not much too wide. There is some too wide in the background there.
Yeah, just a little bit. One of the drivers just being forced out.
Impossible to get back to single file if you're stuck out there.
It was a fantastic launch for Tofts. He's up, well, the top 7 are all in the same order as they started. Meyer up 3, Hooper up 4, Graman up 5. Bokler did lose 4 places, so it is likely that he flew with.
And off in the background.
We have got a spinner. That might be Mads Lauritsen or Jeff Hancock's. Right, we've had another incident as well. It's not a good start for the Delatraz cars. Bokler, I think, has just gained back one of his positions. Yeah. I feel like someone else had an incident.
Carinante and Cook, maybe. And I think Avazzini was involved and Agard was involved. I'm just trying to see who's dropping here. But yeah, Van der Nesse down 25, so it was definitely him at the beginning.
Upatali, I think, as well getting involved in something. He's down a couple of places. So has lost positions somewhere. Here's Rattiani up to 2nd place now in the Pro-Ams, up 4 places overall. He's got Graman right on his tail. Graman, they're not going to go for anything into 130R this first time out.
A couple of seasons ago, you could literally go too wide around that corner. It was crazy times. Oh, as we got a send. Not quite wide enough for 2 cars, is it, Alash Kane? It looks like it, but where do you actually can't turn in.
You need to sort of catch someone else off guard.
Yeah, and outbrake them and keep them sort of pegged over to the left. You can't. A late dive is so dangerous.
Panini has collided with Schwab. That was at the Casio Triangle, I believe. So they moved to the back of our field. Panini, Schwab, Cook, Carinante. The losers out on this first lap. Looks like Broderick did not take the start.
Oh, he didn't. That's a shame.
Van Horn, the highest gain of anyone, up 6 places. I say that actually, Burns and Kasiorskis are 8 places gained for each of them. So they actually take the mantle when it comes to that one. But they all seem to get into single file fairly quickly. Still many changes of position, and we will get a few replays of that first lap in the next few minutes. Of course, a 60-minute race for these drivers to survive tonight. Maybe even feels longer than a Daytona race, because Daytona you can wait for a lot, you're not necessarily pushing, but around here they are going to pretty much be pushing throughout because that draft effect isn't going to easily keep them into contact with the car ahead.
More mental fatigue here than Daytona for sure, though. It's very technical, it's easy to make mistakes, it's easy to get off tracks, it's easy if someone in front of you spins not to be fully hooked up and work out what you're going to do or where you're going to go. Always just feels like the guy you're following in Spoon and 130R always is one moment away from dying in front of you. So you've got to have your wits about you. I mean, 130R, it's just, they snap in front of you. All of a sudden, the guy you're following is now completely sideways. It's just that exit, that red curb on the outside. I think it's a little bit better than seasons have passed, but still something to be dangerous of. So as we see up top there, Tofts leading the Pro, Hooper leading the Pro-Am, and Agard leading the Am. Agard's having a good second half of the season.
He is. And of course, if it ends like this, I think he'll actually take the lead of the championship. Because Cook's poor race starts. He towed back to the pits. I think he's back out on circuit now, but he's nearly an entire lap down. It's Cook. That's going to be a long evening for him with the Pro drivers moving their way
Terminus
past him.
has just gone into the pits, or towed, I'm not sure which way around.
He will not get to the end of him here. You're going to need to go at least, well, probably 20 minutes before you get to the end.
Very tricky for the guys to pass here. Must be very, very tricky indeed. Guess we're on board with Zach.
Toff's not pulling away at the moment. It was trying to sort of figure out who is fast and who isn't fast, but at least out of the top drivers, there's no one really looking like they're going to make a move anytime soon. As you said before, it's not easy to make moves here. And we've maybe got Porter chasing down Puozzi quite close, but even they've always got a few tenths of a second between them. Very little movement since that lap 1 so far, but the leaders aren't really pulling away. It genuinely looks like the top 5 are all right in play for this race win at the moment.
Yeah, top 7 are all in their starting positions. Then we got Anders Meyer and Hooper up 3 and 4 respectively. Or as we see Mads Luritzen dropping, or climbing. No, he's climbing. So who's dropping? Mark? Hutchinson, maybe? I'm not sure. I saw it on my screen. Oh, okay. We got a good tight 3-car battle.
Whoa, that was a lift.
4-car battle.
Oh no, that was not good. Oh, well, somehow Hutchinson survived.
Yeah, that looked late.
So Hancock's now ahead of Panini. And Luritzen did end up at the back of all this.
He's going for it. We got a 130R move from not even alongside. Let's see what they do in the last chicane. Yeah, see, not a lot you can do.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, oh no.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'm sorry. That is
Just a bit impatient from Panini. And he's going to have to make the move anyway.
Yeah, I mean, none of it made sense. The art is setting people up for an overtake. You were setting him up to block you. Like,
Sure.
You know, being where you were in 130R means they're going to be on the far right, which means you're going to have to late dive around the outside, and the left apex was always closing.
Ooh, that's a move. That is ambitious from Sketchley. They're going to remain almost alongside. It's actually Sketchley who's now under threat of losing a position in all of this. He's got Moeller, who's on the inside, and Moeller has got past there. So Sketchley went for an ambitious move on A-guard, didn't work out, and Moeller took advantage of it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, we've got some replays for you. This is the race start. I think mostly okay. Let's try and find out what happened to Bokla and...
Yeah, so Bokla's in the green car, remember?
Yep. So it's very clean from the front runners.
Oh, you know what? I think that was Bokla's fault. Like, he's gone in deep there. Thought that there was a gap, but there really never was.
Let's have a look. Well, I think Bokla was just minding his own business. Oh. Some teammate love. Oh, this is what we talked about. The curb with Cook. Don't rejoin. No. Oh, son. Yeah, maybe he was kind of a bit too much respect. But it wasn't like a... So it's that curb.
I'd say 2 of them lost it, and then he's got past the first one, and he can't get past the second one. Oh, that was a mess. So that involved Cook,
like
Carinante, and Schwab, at least. I think Panini may have been involved, and maybe Bermanis picked up damage.
I would like to know the physics behind that curb and what iRacing's done, because something doesn't ring right. You're driving in a straight line.
Sure.
And it's not like you bottom out. You just yeet to the left.
It's almost like a wet curb.
It's really strange. It's happened to me. I did a complete 360 at the 10 hours of Suzuka. I only lost a second. I mean, I was a bit shaken up. But yeah, complete 360. Didn't hit the wall and managed to carry on. I didn't know it was about to happen.
Those 360s are satisfying, though, because there is a decent chance that it will happen when you spin there. Like, it can be any angle. And
correct.
So,
yeah, so I deliberately performed a strategic
got a bit bored
manoeuvre
on 8 hours in. Thought,
yeah.
Let's do some tricks.
Some tricks. No, thank God it's not the new time model, whereas it would have been wrecked. But yeah, I'm not suggesting that Jonathan had any control there. He was obviously carrying a lot of speed. Just a shame is all.
Oh, something's happened to Van Horn just behind.
Yes.
I reckon he's probably dipped a tyre onto the curb on the outside of the first part of Spoon, and he's lost it because of that.
Cool, I don't
He's
know.
actually got a bit of damage as well.
Yeah. I don't think he can turn his wheels.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Delaval from second place in the championship and in the race. This is the first time Delaval has made any sign of a mistake all season long, and his 100% top 5 record is on Dazzy coming to an end now. He was not racing anyone, and that's not a great rejoin either. And he's got a lot of catching up to do, and he's going to have to take an extra pit stop.
Yeah, big shame. We'll see what happened. I mean, you're calling it a mistake already.
Well,
Yes.
he was fine. I mean, surely it was, being by himself. We've got Arthur Merle.
Is that VR? Or has he just got really big sunglasses? Yes, VR. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's always weird when you look at someone's rig who does VR, because they don't even need a screen.
No.
They don't have to. They don't have a monitor mount.
They might just be doing nothing there. Like you have no verification that they're doing anything but just turning the wheel randomly with their eyes closed.
See his partner or anyone in the house, I'd love it if they, crept up to the camera. They could wave to us. He wouldn't even know. He wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Any relatives of Arthur Merle who are watching along, please do that. Oh dear, Luritson's binned it, and Merle has nearly binned it. He was put off a bit.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Not even yourself and all this risk. It's the person you're in front of you as well.
No, sorry. All right, sorry, David.
No, I'm just saying the person in front of you can also have this happen to you. So you just got to always have your wits about you. Can't just relax back in autopilot mode.
Love this graph. The gaps between the drivers. Tofts versus your Tortzes, this one. And of course, now that Tofts hasn't got the second place man of Delaval behind him, his gap to the rest of the field has increased significantly. He's now actually half a lap clear of Delaval, some 55 seconds. And Delaval will need to pit later on as well. He's not going to get to the end of the race with the fuel that he's taken on board. So, going to be a long evening for the Italian. He's just got to try to recover points. Most likely, it will be Delaval's drop score. Of course,
True.
it depends what the rest of his season goes like. It's certainly his worst score so far this season. So, he can drop 2 of his remaining 6 rounds potentially. And, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, there's no way he can fuel to the end. This is an hour race. It's just not possible.
I have just seen a preview of the spin, and it's actually at 130R, but we will get a view of it soon. Japuko has gone off. He was up in the top 15, but he's no longer in the top 20.
And Mads Lauritsen is dropping. He is somewhere on track facing the wrong way, I assume. Yeah, Trabucca's into the pits. We have 2 Lauritsens, is that?
We do.
Are they Laurated? That was meant to be a joke. It didn't sit. I will.
So, no, can't I explain it?
No, I can't. I don't.
No,
We're
because
moving
he
on.
said
No,
Lauritsen,
things
and
are
then he
happening.
said related, as
Tofts has broken the draft.
What are you talking about?
Are they related?
They are. I think they're related. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Moving on. Tofts has got a 2.3 second lead, but I assume that's because of Delaval's mistake, as you called it.
Here's some more replays. Say Van Horn. Oh, you know what? I thought it was different, but it was pretty much in the same place. Oh, he's already lost the car.
He lost the rear.
Here's Delaval, and he's made the exact same mistake as what Cook did earlier on. Slams the wall, and then he turns into the next corner, and because his suspension is broken, he spins on the top.
Yeah, no, this curve ain't
He just
no
tapped
way.
the green bit, didn't he?
I don't even think it's that. Yoink, he's Trabuca coming in way too hot there.
Very common mistake, I find, at least at Suzuka, because you're pushing the car so that you take that arcing line, so you're using all the space. But And you sort of expect it to be the front end which gives up, but actually it's the rear end in that scenario which gives up on him. And went round. Here's Hutchinson. After a poor qualifying, he's now 5 places, just got past the lat.
That's the way to get it done. You absolutely just smother them out wide, you're down the inside, and that's the way to do it. That's what I was talking about earlier. If you try something at 130R, you're forcing them to take the outside line, which means, yeah. And that, I forget who it was now, but that the last left-hander that was always closing. He wasn't alongside by any stretch of the imagination. He just tried to sort of come off the brake pedal and yeet it down the inside when a car was already completely committed to the corner.
I think it was Panini who was just behind Hutchinson and will be the next driver to pass the lat. Back with this area of the field. There was a train around here before, but the train has gone missing. They've all started to spread out a little bit. Ubertali in 15th place, 3rd place out of the Pro-Am drivers. He did start 2nd place out of the Pro-Am drivers, but he's now quite far away from Michael Hooper, 8 seconds away when he only started 1 place behind him on the grid. So not a great race so far for Ubertali, and he is at threat of dropping into the clutches of Del Piccolo. He's up 5 places. Agard still leader of the amateur drivers, still on course to take the lead of the amateur championship, running as high as 18th place so far.
Yeah, still to play for. I actually genuinely thought a train, you meant a train, a physical train.
No, they haven't rented that here at Suzuka.
No, I was going to say...
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they've got excellent trains, obviously, in Japan.
Oh, we're going to get a nice battle into T1. See if anything can be done here.
Yeah, Maya having to wait for a while. Apologies, that's Bokler moving past, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
Bokler got
was
that done.
waiting for a while, and he has now got past Maya. So Maya going the opposite direction to what he'd won, and Bokler now top of the BMW drivers.
Yeah, so I know you like this track, but yeah, there's just one too many S's here for me. Because all this stuff isn't racing. Yeah, it's good, and it's about hooking up your lap, but there's no overtaking.
So you like Road Atlanta? The best part of Road Atlanta is the S's, and that's not for racing. If you want racing, then go to, I don't know, Monza. Go do NASCAR.
All right, okay. I won't mention the S's anymore. This track could do being a bit wider.
It depends what car category. Like for Formula 1, sure. Because there's only a handful of circuits which are the right size for Formula 1 nowadays. But for GT3s, I think it's alright. I like tricky to overtake circuits. Like that's something that I really enjoy when I'm racing, where you have to wait maybe 10 laps behind and I drive. Like I think that's why I like street courses. Like some of my funnest races have been Indy cars at Long Beach, because it's so tricky to overtake and you've got to be so bold in order to pull it off. I'm not a big fan. I like pack racing every now and again as a bit of fun, but I find those, you know, race-long battles of trying to get past someone, that's the most fun, I think, when you can have in racing and sim racing.
Robert Van Horn's in chat. I hate the Audi. Sorry to see, mate. Yeah, that was just what we call an Audi spin. The best way to get rid of it, mate, is how you release the throttle. If you're driving the Audi, where the fast guys get the pace is how they come off the throttle. So they gain extra rotation by yeeting off it quickly. But if you can release it slowly like you would brake in a pickup, like the opposite curve, then you can control the amount of rotation and differential the car gives you. If you're mid-corner and you lift the throttle, the diff is wide open.
Sure.
And yeah, there's no saving the Audi when you do that to the car. So yeah. The Audi, I remember when years ago, was the OP car. The old Audi had a differential like no other, like Rennsport rotation. Oh, but only the fast guys could utilize it. Whereas everybody else, we would control it, which means it's slow. We might as well drive the Ferrari. We wasn't using the differential how they were. Lift off oversteer is my enemy. Yeah. Correct. Just got to slow the release of the throttle release. Slow the release of the throttle release.
I think that does sort of make sense, but I'm not sure if it means what you meant.
Means what I meant.
Means what I meant. Let me get that makes sense. Well, how do you want me to say it?
I don't know.
Means
How
what-
I should have
means
said
what
my
you
thing.
meant.
The old Audi is the worst. They're the same. Do you agree? They're the same.
I haven't
They
driven
sound
the new one
different.
enough, honestly. I think the old one's probably the GT3 that I drove the most, actually. That's the one that I got all the way back in 2016 when I first joined the sim.
Yeah, I don't really feel a difference, to be honest. If I was blindfolded and I would know it's the Audi. If the sound was off and I was blindfolded and I just could feel the TC ABS and the rotation, I'd know it's the Audi.
So Tokyo's still behind Hooper and Caserta catching up to the pair of them. This is Panini. He's now caught up to the back of Hutchinson, so he got past to Latz, and he got another ambitious move from Panini, but he's going to... No, he's not going to pull this one off. He's gone too wide. But now he's got the wide line. He's going to get on the power nice and early. I think the Ferrari driver is going to be clear. While they get out of Spoon, and with that extra momentum, he'll be safe.
Hat off there. Hat off there. That was impressive. He got it done. BMW is... No, he's not having a look. Live to fight another day.
So he's now got 5 seconds to catch up to Kasuroskas, and then he's got another 8 seconds. No, sorry, he's got 8 seconds to catch up to... No, I'm being thick. He's got 5 seconds to catch up to Kasuroskas, then another 8 seconds to Asko Lewis. So he's going to have a dull next 20 minutes of the race. But it might get interesting for him in the closing stages when he can start picking up a few more of the top 20 guys.
He's up for... What happened? Because Mark has some strong days. I am right, yeah? He has some much stronger days than this.
Yeah. Like, even last week, he was up in the top 15, I think. But yeah, he had a poor qualifying, I think, and an issue at the start. There goes Tokyo. He's finally got past Hooper.
Yeah, I was just about to say I saw the change on my sheet. Hooper's had a very strong, consistent season. He has been very dominant in Prime. Well, obviously, Retini has also been strong, but Hooper must be leading the championship, right? Off top. Yeah. Just on picturing his results alone in my head. So Zach is 2.2 seconds off Porter with Drakea 3/10 behind. Puerta and Porter, the Italians, they're close to each other on track, following Utortis as well. Jacob Toff's 2.7 second lead. As we see Zach there. With Dan Drakea, who's been driving very well all season. Only 4.7k this guy.
Yeah, representing Romania very well, because we've got Walk Racing, who are the main Romanian team. You always field many drivers in different Apex Racing League series, but in this series, it's very much Drakea who's flying the Romanian flag.
So, fun story about one of our drivers who isn't driving. Eric Rousseff was in my chat. I didn't know it was him, some username, asking what's a good car to grind some iRating. Like, at the moment, I was like, well, if you want my honest answer, it's whatever car you normally drive and good in. And then he got chatting and went, oh, it's been me, by the way, Eric Rousseff. And I was like, oh, of course, mate. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, go drive GT3. You're not.
He doesn't need to work out for it, does he?
You're not a 4.5, whatever it is, 4.3, 4.4k driver. You're much faster than that. So just go do that.
Dorothy has caught up to Utortis in the last few laps.
Yeah.
He's been sat about a second and a bit behind Utortis on the most part, and also a bit under pressure from Porter, but they've gradually got a little bit closer, and they have been being faster than Tofts as well, who visually is a little bit far away from these guys, but not too far. Porter will be saving fuel, Porter will be saving fuel, and so Tofts hasn't got this one in the back. But back at VAR, he was absolutely faultless, was Tofts. He was really good when out in the lead. And so he might be able to, if he performs similar to how he did then, he will be very difficult to beat.
Sure. He missed the first 2 races of the season, or was it a 1?
I think he missed the first one, but then I think he missed another one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so he missed 2. And your drop would be just one of the, you don't get to, yeah, it'd be one of the ones you missed, right? You can't just miss a week and use a low result as your drop.
Yeah, if you miss a round,
yeah.
That's, yeah. I mean, a better way of putting it is your 10 best results out to 12.
Okay, yes. Eric Rousseff saying 4.3k suits me just fine. No, it does not. No, it does not.
I mean, I think it's good to have a low iRacing, and then you can actually win races.
Yeah, but that doesn't work because you can only win a couple, and then you go tank it somewhere. Like, it doesn't really work.
I mean, in my experience, because I am in the depths of 3.7k, I think. For a while, I was like 4.5k, and every single race I would be qualifying maybe P15, and then if I finished P10, I gained like 10 iRacing or something. I was really sort of like grinding it out. And it just gets dull eventually when you're never winning races. Whereas if I was, say, 3.5k back then I would have been in second split and winning races, which would have been way more fun. You know?
Yeah, I had someone ask me about my win ratio, like last season, this season, whatever. And they were asking, like, they've had, like, I don't know, 34 wins, and they were asking me why I've only had, like, 5 this season. I'm like, well, I'm in 6k softs. I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, a lot, like, PESC this week, I've been, Porsche Cup this week, I've been racing. I've had all the PESC guys in there, 9k, 8k, with pro licenses. You know, I got 3 P2s. I was the bridesmaid 3 times, but the leader was light years quicker than me.
Sure.
And the P2 battle was the entire battle for the race. Eric says, I do way too much league racing, rarely have time to officials. Well, you're lucky with this ARL one because it follows the official schedule, so you could use them as practice.
Yep.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, yeah, I mean, it's tough when your iRating gets high. But, yeah, you just got to go on how well you perform to your prep, you know. Did you hit the lap times? Did you keep the consistency? Did you nail your fuel? Did you nail your pit stop? Did you stay out of trouble? Did you minimise your mistakes? Basically, I'm like every other F1 driver in Formula 1 apart from Max Verstappen. That's it.
Yeah.
They never win either.
Well, what's Verstappen's iRating? We were discussing this earlier. You got higher iRating than Verstappen, right?
No,
higher rating when it comes to... Your iRating is higher than his F1 iRating.
Correct, yes.
So someone calculated iRatings in F1 from the year 1950 and decided, I think that Max was about 5k.
Yeah, no one's above like 5.7, 5.9, yeah. Obviously, it's difficult because the pool is a lot smaller, right? There's the opportunity to game would take forever.
And many less races.
And quite a few, yeah. They do a year what I do in 3-4 days.
Yeah, I mean, you see some guys, like Alex Dunn, averaging a race a day for over the course of 2 years. Just absolutely raking them in.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Of course, you're practicing in the Porsche Cup at the moment. Is first round of PESC All-Stars in the Porsche Cup?
No, in the Porsche GTP.
Oh, is it? Okay. Feeling confident about that?
That's the car I used at Daytona, and the first track is Daytona. So, yeah.
Okay.
Feeling... I haven't tried the setup, but I'm just trying not to think about it, yeah. Basically, I think I'm going to win. I just need to turn up and...
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got a good chance, right? Like...
I don't know. Let's think top 5 and go from there from the season goes on.
Do make sure to tune in to that one. That will be on next Saturday.
God, next Saturday. Now you've made me nervous.
About 5 o'clock. Oh, Duquet's crashed. Oh, it's another instant at 130 up.
Oh.
If he has got damage, he can come into the pits here and get the damage repaired and get to the end of the race. So I think that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, because he'll want that fast repair.
He was doing ever so well up in, P5? I think he was up ahead of White.
Correct, yep. Yeah, so White's gained from Drakea and Dalaval. Utortus running strong, 5.4k. Let's not forget, Tofson, Utortus, Porter and Porter are 7.4 and 7.3k. Zach 6. Roman Bockler 7k. Maya 6.3. That's really cost Drakea though. Really cost him. We'll get a clip of what happened, but what you think in the outside curb and the 180 grazed the wall and then...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, his spin seemed to be a bit earlier than some of the others, so maybe he's actually just lost the rear, but considering how comfortable the drivers seem to be through there, I doubt that's the case. Del Piccolo has got a good seat for this one. This is side-by-side into the Degners, and that is a very good move from Ubertali to get past Sampaoli outside of Degner 1 And in that Audi versus Audi fight, he has come out on top, and he is escaping from the teammates who are all lined up behind him. So great work from the man who started in P14.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah, the Audi's very popular choice. Not all making it work. Seeing Porsches 1 and 2 though. Man, they are all missing out with their terrible choices of cars this season. The Lambo.
They can't change cars. It would cost them 50 points, which is recoverable.
Yeah.
It'd be a big commitment.
They'd also have to admit they're wrong, which is to them worth more than 50.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a personal pride thing. I would pick the Porsche. Like, obviously, that's just me. I would pick it every season. That's just the car I'm most averse in. I think the BMW is a good pick for the most driver, because at every track it doesn't have a weakness. Like, it's never the car sometimes, but... Oh, we've got Alessandro Torci and Caserta in.
And Sao Pauli and Mola. One of the weird pit lanes here where it's all bumpy for some reason.
Oh, it's terrible. Missing your pit guys are very easy to do. Okay, some replays coming in. Oh. Wow, that was a weird one. Yeah, he obviously just got completely loose on entry. Let's see. Whoa.
Yeah, it didn't seem to do a whole lot wrong.
Yeah, just not paying attention. I think he just clipped the inside curb and just wasn't paying attention.
Here it was from Ubitali. I think it was Sao Pauli who was overtaking, and it was actually a mistake in the driver ahead.
Very nice.
Yeah, had to pick up the 1x, but it was well worth the cost.
Yeah, just think about Leclerc's move there. Yeah, I think just not paying enough attention. Over-rotate the wheel, clip the inside curb, and that's all she wrote because, yeah. They don't have to use a certain setup, do they? They do not, no. They can use the setup they've been using all week at VRS.
Bokler, who of course overtook Meyer earlier on, he's now got his sights on White. Do wonder where Bokler would have been had he had a better qualifying. He started in P8. I think he may have dropped back even.
Yeah, T1, didn't he?
Maybe at the start, yeah. Of course, he collided with Van der Nesse, so he might actually get a post-race penalty if the stewards decide that that is worthy of a penalty. Van der Nesse did get back out on circuit, I think.
Oh, Bokler looks quick.
Yeah, he'll be past it.
Well, it's Zach. He's not getting past. I'm calling it.
There he goes.
No, we'll see.
No, he's lifting off.
No.
I mean, is this Zach White? Who is this imposter?
Perhaps his cat's driving for him. He's got to get a coffee.
I think with 28 minutes to go, he realises I'm not going to keep this guy behind.
Maybe.
Let's stay in the trough, save a bit of fuel, and see if he can drag us up. And maybe Bokler can wipe out Porter ahead. But I mean, White's now 4.5 seconds away from Porter, who himself has dropped off slightly from Yatortas and Puozzi.
Agard just driving like a life defender at Stegar said. Let's have a look. Agard.
Yeah, up to 14th now. That will be lower once everyone makes their pit stop, but
he has a huge lead in the AM division.
Yep.
And let's not forget 14th overall at 38 drivers in the AM division. I feel a mid-season Pro-Am promotion.
It's too late now. I think after round 3, you'd be hard pushed. Oh, whoa. Nikolai. Just taking the arc line. That's actually how the circuit used to go. It used to rather be two independent apexes, but I think it used to basically just be a smooth curve, and Agard very much paying tribute to that layout with that manoeuvre.
Yes, and of course, that's the Racing Lab team gets a lot of support in chat.
Yes, yeah, really great team. Just all the Norwegians, just great guys. I think Norway is, in terms of sim racing nations, perhaps maybe the best one. Like, got so many.
Not the Netherlands.
Passionate.
Tough, right?
But some. Okay, in terms of competitiveness, maybe the Netherlands. I mean, I think probably the UK. I mean, I don't want to be too biased towards us, but I think we're fairly competitive with the legends that are.
Yeah, I thought you
Jamie
meant
Fluke and
sub UK.
Peter Veyman. and Kevin Ennis Jr. as a Hooper comes into the pitch. But yeah, in terms of just like good spirits and like just nice people, I think the Norwegians are up there when it comes to sim racing, from my experience at least.
No, I agree.
Seems like maybe these guys have run out of fuel, so I don't think anyone else is going to get beyond this next lap, honestly.
What do you mean run out of fuel? You mean they were splattering?
Yeah.
I almost missed the word there. I hate those bumps on pit road though.
Oh, absolutely.
I've missed the pit guy a few times back in the past.
I think Snetterton's probably the worst one.
Oh god, yeah.
I looked actually at the PESC GB schedule earlier on, PEC GB, apologies, and they're running Snetterton 200 layout, like the outside layout. It really does demonstrate just how awful the 300 layout is. And I have the right to have a rant about this because I grew up about 20 miles away from the circuit. Truly one of the worst additions to a circuit in motorsport history, and that is testament to it that they're using the 200 layout instead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Barcelona also has that award. They cannot get that circuit right.
Well, they've just undone all the changes, haven't they? They've tried to go back to what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah. Shame, it's a good circuit. Yeah, that just ruins the racing, for me anyway.
So Tofts will probably come in on this lap. That's what I'm anticipating at least. Ah, here we go. Well, I'm glad I'm right about something.
Oh,
let's see if anyone can
Tortoise
go
is going
the
straight
extra
on.
lap. Yes. Puozzi manages to get it.
Zach in. Oakler is in.
Porter had to be
Zach is
interesting.
in, yeah.
So Puozzi did an amazing job there. He was right on the tail of your Tortoise for much of that stint, and this needs to be a big lap from him, but on low fuel and with a decently cleared track. I don't think he's going to catch up to the traffic in time. This, I would say he's favourite to end up in P2 right now. Toss should remain in P1 as long as his pit stop is all right. So far, the stationaries has been around about 18 to 23 seconds. Oh, your Tortoise is he ahead of Tofts?
Wow.
He is ahead of Tofts. He managed to shave off 3 seconds in the pit stall.
Maybe Tofts missed his box, to be honest.
Maybe he missed his box. Maybe he took tyres. But I think they all took 2 tyres. I think 4 tyres is about 23 seconds or something, albeit feel free to correct us in chat. But that could be huge for your Tortoise. And I mean, if Puozzi can have a similar pit stop to your Tortoise, it might be Puozzi who goes from 3rd up to 1st in all this.
Yeah, one thing the pit exit people get, though, is the defending line into 1.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah, he does have an advantage. You come down pit road, you get that right-hand side, which, you know, if you're coming down, which these guys are going to be on their outlap, you can't grab the apex. Who is it we're keeping an eye on? Porter, yeah. So if his pit stops quick and
this is
you stay right.
This is looking really good. Oh no, sorry, I was comparing the wrong drivers. But is it looking good for him? We're comparing Puozzi and your Tortoise. Okay, so Puozzi was 2/10 faster sector 2, 2/10 faster sector 3. Ooh, he had a poor sector 4. Puozzi had a poor sector 4. I wonder if it's because of traffic. I think this traffic may have just cost Puozzi the race lead here, and he's still being held up. It's an awful second half to that in-lap.
I thought he was carrying
Puozzi.
on. Yeah, really.
He lost half a second in sector 4 alone.
Yikes, he's going to be reeling.
Although, to be fair, I think that sector 4 was genuinely a mistake. I think it was just sector 6 where he really started to get held up. So Carl Sketchley will undoubtedly have
Anders Meyer is in the pits again, or towed? Something's happened.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Oh, Toss has got past your Tortoise. He's been able to get him into Casio Triangle, and now can he get past Puozzi, or have they been fighting too much? Neither of them had a good in-lap or out-lap, and this could be dead level.
You get the right-hand side.
Is coming out of the pits. You know what? He's way clear. He is way clear. It was a super fast pit stop, 16.95 seconds compared to Toff's 21.67. So it might be something to do with tyres, it might just be that he's taken way less fuel, but Puozzi for now is leading the way. But that is by far the shortest pit stop we've had of anyone in this race.
I'm calling it. He must have missed his box. Just a step. Missed his box by a step, fixed it, and it cost him to your Tortoise, and then Purity. And then, yeah, Toff's fighting your Tortoise to get the position back has lost him the net lead in this race.
Okay, so Toffs did take tyres. I guess he took all 4 then, and it was just really quick. And your Tortoise did not take tyres. I will look back at the broadcast, see if Portsy took tyres, but I don't think he did.
Yeah, good point. So on board with Porter here, who start of the season it looked like he could do no wrong. Pole win seemed like just it was too easy for him. And if he didn't get pole, then or there was an incident at the start of the race, he was still going to go on to at least win it or podium. And that has been oh, Felix Toffs in chat saying 4 new tyres.
Thank you, Felix.
So yeah, he's going to be very rapid at the tail end of this race then. If Porty's out there on no tyres, that's what you're checking right now, yeah?
Yes. What's he... Oh. No, I don't know if he did take tyres or not.
Oh, I think we only saw pit exit, right?
Yeah. Question mark. Am I out?
Yeah, that's what we saw. Well,
yes.
I think he... I think he towed on his out lap. So I assume something happened. But if there is, we'll get a replay of it.
Of course, we did see an instant earlier on for Dalaval, and Dalaval is also out of the race, so he decided to quit out. So that was second place in the championship. If it ends like this, I think Dalaval will still be second place in the championship, but Porter will be in the lead and extending his championship lead.
Nice. I had some good races with Jacob Toffs at Spa early in the season. Some really good races. We actually met on track by me. Bump draw. I had to pick, you know, sometimes you've got to pick the 2 people in front of you, who are you going to push? And I pushed, which turned out to be Jacob Toffs. And then, which paid dividends, because in the race later, he pushed me for a position, which was nice. Okay, some replays. This is Maya on the, I assume, pit out lap. It's just, yeah, heavier car.
Oh, has he been hit?
No, he just dropped his rears on the curb. Toffs on a move on Purita. Oh.
Nice. Oh, just about got clear as well. I don't think your Tortoise really did a whole lot wrong there.
Oh, it was your Tortoise, of course. Sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah, he handled that well.
Oh, and there's now side by side for the lead. Here comes Toss for his move for the lead, and those fresh tyres are serving him very well. And with 18 minutes to go, this could be the move that he needs. His car is just about ahead, and he is clear. Jacob Toss, after losing the lead earlier on, he has retaken it again, and seeing that he's got a much faster car, it looks like, than his rivals, he should be able to pull away from here on in.
Didn't make it easy for himself, but he did do it. But, you know, not making it easy. Overtaking's not the easiest here.
So top 4 now separated by 1.8 seconds. It's probably the closest it's been since lap 1. But expect that to spread out. Porter looks quick. We did see Yatorta struggling a little bit for tyres back at Mugello. Porter was able to get past Yatorta around this stage of the race, actually, back at Mugello. That was for the lead on that day. Tonight it's just for the final step on the podium. Buchler in 5th position. He stayed ahead of White during the pit stops. Big gap back to Graman. Of course, Meyer not in it anymore, so he was in 8th place, or would have been in 8th place. Caserta up 4 places. Hooper still leader of the Pro-Ams, and is still Agard top of the AMs in 18th place.
Stego living in chat is saying, I call he rage quit after that spin. Yes, he did.
Yes.
Proper full-on wherefore.
Anders last season was a bit all or nothing. I think this season it's sorts of turning into the same. Got the 2nd most amount of race wins of anyone last season. It was actually a driver called Antonino Samarco who won the championship last season. Unfortunately, he didn't return for this season. Driver 2 as well, Antonino. Hopefully he's found a team, because he was an exceptionally fast driver. Won the title in the McLaren, actually, as well. Was an absolute weapon on some of the high-speed circuits. Not sure if he'd necessarily want to drive that car around this circuit. We sort of don't even talk about it, do we, when it comes to this? We talk about the Lamborghini, despite it not being on track, but the McLaren and the Ford, yeah.
No.
Although Bathurst coming up, That's always
Yep.
McLaren,
Ferrari,
McLaren week.
yeah, McLaren, Ferrari. You still see the Mercedes there.
You taking part in Bathurst?
I will. Just got to find a teammate. My teammate is allergic to GT3s now.
I mean, they need to bring back the Porsche Cups. Those were the days. Multi-class Bathurst. Racing.
Yeah.
That's in the gravel.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Nice recovery though. Not even sure it's a slowdown, to be honest. But yeah, I'll do Bathurst. Just yeah. I haven't really fallen in love with GT3s again myself yet. I like the track though. I love the track. I just hope iRacing gets this right sooner. The GT3s. It's been going in the wrong direction for too long. I don't want to dwell, but yeah. I mean, the general consensus across the board is that they are. Which is strange because this is their trump card, right? This is the busy series.
Sure, I mean, it's still by far the most popular class. I mean, it's difficult to imagine GT3s not being the dominant class in sim racing. It is so far ahead of everything else. But yeah, nothing's going to beat it anytime soon with the manufacturers involved.
No. I mean, the GTP's making a big push. Hopefully we've got the Lambo coming. Hopefully we've got the Aston Martin coming. The Ferrari's out there, obviously, in the wet class. The Peugeot's out there in the wet class. I mean, that's... When was the last time we had 8 manufacturers in a class again, you know?
Yeah.
Outside of GT3.
You've been given an offer from Stayguard Living, saying that you can team up with Eric and Anders. I would take that, honestly. I think they'll be good teammates.
All right, thank you. I will...
You three would be a dangerous squad.
I will, yes, I will keep that offer.
I mean, I appreciate Stegar, you're not inviting me to that, but I'm sure it's implied. But yeah, whatever you want to do, Stegar. Maybe
He didn't say me yet. He might mean, yeah, he might mean you.
No, we all know what he meant. We all know. 3.7k, but I can do better. I can do better.
You're not 3.7.
I am 3.7, yeah.
No, you don't drive.
I am the fastest commentator though in iRacing, because I won the bragging rights.
Yeah.
Series.
I wasn't there. Is that what you were saying? Yeah.
Yeah, you should have been around. You would have been up there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have let you beat me. Yeah.
Won,
oh, okay. Of course. Yeah.
You could have. You know what? We finished, I think, 3rd in the broadcaster standings. I think SimSpeed may have won. I think we may have lost. No, I think we beat Rennsport. I think we were 2nd in the end. You could have pushed us above SimSpeed, but no, SimSpeed are the fastest broadcasting company, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll see.
Toff's not dropping Portsy.
Not at all.
2nd between the two of them. Your Tortoise, though, has been dropped. He's now 2.2 seconds off the lead.
He must have been absolutely ecstatic coming out of them pits.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite the moment. I tell you, Beauclerc is not out of this. We haven't really been paying attention to him, but he's clawed back 2 seconds on Porter. And, you know, we're talking about Porter here, who could, look like he could do no wrong in the start of the season. Romain Beauclerc has pulled 2 seconds on him. So, yeah, he still has another 5 to go, and the clock is fleeting. But he's not done. He's pushing. It's impressive. Very
Good
impressive.
effort from Chris Van Den Nesse in this race. He went off at turn 1. Through no fault of his own, really, and was miles away from the so he's back up into 17th place. He's chasing down Avanzini and co. He was actually 0.8 of a second faster than Avanzini that last time. He was 1.8 seconds behind, so he should have 5 minutes or so to get past. Well, he could get Ubertali, Del Piccolo, Sketchley, and Avanzini by the end of the race. That would be like the perfect scenario if he got all 4 of them. I doubt he will get all 4, but I think he should get 1 or 2 of them at least.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but he's running very strong. It is very impressive. He's great. I mean, Danny's coming for sure. I'm sure that's going to be a move that's done before the end of the race.
Yeah, Duclair was 0.2 of a second faster that last time round.
I'm trying to think where Duclair dropped it. Oh, yeah, he just self-dropped it into 130R, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just, yeah, it wasn't even on the curb.
Another shout out, by the way, to VRS, another sponsor for the series. VRS with their wheelbase, their pedals, and their wheel rim, all of which you can buy over at apexracingsim.com, used by many professional sim racers. Got Alejandro Sanchez around at the Sim Center for this weekend, and he was telling us about how he uses the VRS equipment over at his home, and well, it's very convenient for him to visit the Sim Center and be able to jump into a very similar rig straight away. So yeah, many pest drivers like himself using that equipment, and so we very much recommend you do yourself. So do visit apexracingsim.com in order to purchase your own set of pedals, wheelbase and wheel rim.
Well said. Oh, yeah, Dan's already there. Let's keep an eye on Bokler's lap times to see if... No, I don't think this is going to be possible. As exciting as that fairy tale sounds,
I mean,
10 minutes.
If only he qualified well, right? Like, he's 9 seconds off the lead right now. I feel like he was 9 seconds off the lead about 5 laps into the race, because he was...
Not just qualifying, but T1.
Yeah, lap 1, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is more the pace that he showed last time out as well at Daytona. But I thought it may have been a bit of a one-off at Daytona just because of the BMW. But he really has backed it up tonight. And expect to see Bokler winning races before the end of the year. Great to see Delatraz do well in this championship and, of course, the Prototype Championship as well. Alexander Delatraz, the main driver when it comes to the Prototypes, had a good result yesterday in 4th position, if I recall correctly. So... yeah, that team is working well. Torquio's had another off. We've already seen him go off at 130R, and I wonder if he's had another one. Also, I love this graph, and thanks to our producer Lee Thompson for showing us all the laps from the start of the race. So to be fair, I'm a little bit wrong, and it has actually increased, but you can see how he... Well, of course, yeah, so the smallest it was 5 seconds. So it's grown from about 5.5 seconds to 9 seconds over the course of 25 laps, which... You know, that's like a 10th.5 a lap, which you can see he's been in traffic as well, is impressive from Bokler. So he's been strong tonight. Yeah,
for sure. Great analysis.
Great analysis, yeah. Kettle Larson saying, Lifetimer says that Meyer is 6 laps down. What happened? I thought he quit. Is he still going, Meyer? No, he did quit. It's just a long lap here. He quit ages ago. He spun at Spoon and rage quit.
On pit exit. Yeah, he had pitted. He was on his out lap of fuel, and yeah, the car's just a little lower on full fuel, and the line he took in Spoon just put his rear right, dipped on the curb, and unfortunately it sent him. It's crazy. It sends a BMW. The BMW is nigh on impossible to over-rotate, spin, or do anything with.
Yeah.
So that's how scared the Porsche and Audi guys are of that curb. It's such a tricky track. I say this isn't one of my favourite tracks, as you know, but it's certainly not a track I dislike. But I so miss the Suzuka 10 hour.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Fuji. I think Fuji is the most confusing circuit. Why that's done well on the sim, I do not get it. Lots of series use Fuji. Yeah. And I don't think it's any good. The old circuit was incredible, but the 21st century circuit, nah. I don't think there's a single... Compared to this, I would say there's 15 corners at Suzuka which are better than the best corner at Fuji, I'd say. Like, it's just not a good circuit.
Yeah, it shredded my... It dented how much I loved GT3's did Fuji, the endurance, because we did it last minute. Me and Brian, who I haven't raced with in a while, we jumped in. I can't even remember what car we picked. We didn't do all that much prep. We did enough to, be performant. And we both had the same struggles with tyres. The stint length just felt too long. That last corner section garbage is terrible, and then it's joining the longest straight in motor racing, which that's a cruel mistress. Because you've got no tyre grip, you're trying to navigate that last stupid section, and if you mess up joining the straight, well, that's a position. Or at least you're going to be having to defend again, which puts more heat through the tyres.
Yep, bring back... I mean, I'd have, like, Okayama 6 hours. I'd be up for that. Well, there's not many Japanese circuits, but I think Fuji's maybe the worst of them. Jackson White asking, is there any Australians in this race? There are not.
Zach White's a Kiwi.
Zach White is a New Zealander.
Yep.
Just hundreds of miles away from Australia, I think.
Yeah. I call him an Aussie when he's doing something wrong, just to
Yeah.
wind him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves it. Don't think he does. But no, I don't think there's any Aussies. Got a nice mix of cars in the front five. Obviously, there are no Lambos, there are no Maccas, there are no Fords. But we've got the Porsche in first, Audi in second, Ferrari in fourth, and the BMW in fifth.
Yeah,
Are there any Mercs? Because Zach was in a Merc, he changed to the Audi.
Not in this race. I feel like there are Mercedes drivers registered to the series, but like only about 2.
It isn't the easiest car. I would never pick it for an all-season long...
Oh dear.
Oh no, wait, was Dan's pit stop too early?
No, it wasn't too early. Oh, is he just going straight through here because he's got a drive-through?
No.
Yeah, he's got a drive-through. So he's got 20 instants. That's when the drive-through kicks in.
Now, it's a pretty short pit entry, but you do lose out on exit for sure.
Mola gets him. He will stay ahead of Sampaoli. Shame for Duquet because he recovered really well. And that promotes everyone behind him. Vettiani, Ubertali, Del Piccolo, Sketchley, Avanzini, and Van der Nesse all up a place. And Agard as well, actually, top of the Pro-Ams. Apologies, top of the Ams. Yet an extra point for him. And now this pack is together. We've got Ubertali at the front of this. He's been the leader of this chain for a while. Del Piccolo has never really got close to passing him. Then it's Sketchy having a great race. Starts at 24th. He's up to 13th. Avanzini in 14th. Van der Nesse is the fastest of all these guys, but his momentum, he was gaining at like half a second a lap at one point. Now it's down to just about a 10th of a lap he's gaining, albeit with half moves like that from Avanzini, that will encourage the Belgian driver that he could get a little bit closer. Apologies, the Dutch driver, if he could get closer. He's now 0.8 of a second back. He might just come up a bit short. He'd be wanting this race to be the same length as Daytona last week at 75 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think 75 minutes is a good race length. I'd like to see that more in iRacing. But they would call it an endurance, and for some reason that means weekends only. I didn't quite ever get that from iRacing. What about evenings, or us, people with no jobs, or that racing's our job? Give us some endurance in the week, come on. At least try it out. For them, like, it's almost ingrained in our brain that it has to be a weekend.
Well, we hosted the ASUS Apex Racing League Endurance Championship on a Friday night, and that was very popular.
Yeah, that would
People quite enjoyed that.
That would be mega.
A few people were saying, oh, next season have a 6-hour race. And we were thinking, no, that would end at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I think you should back-to-back that endurance series. There should be no breaks. Just season 1 is here, then season 2, we have a week off, and then the week later it starts. Sure. Serious, yeah. I'm gutted I didn't get to do that. I think short-form endurance racing that's weekly is, I think that's where it's at for me.
Schwab has nearly caught up to Hancock. So this is Ferrari versus Porsche. And for, fourth place outside the amateur drivers. Drivers do score points for their overall position, so it doesn't matter too much, but it is something a bit for pride. Cassato just making a small mistake as well further up. Here's Bowler, part of this long queue. Jokea has caught up to the back of these guys, so it's Agard, Mola, and Jokea all in a line.
We need to look at this Nicola Agard's iRacing history profile in a minute soon. 2.3k, ain't no way. Come on now. I see him week in, week out performing in the... Isn't he driving the... Oh, he's driving the Audi. Super performant, week in, week out. Very impressive. Toff's the second clear. It's very spread out. There's no close battles apart from Zach White and Bokler.
Avanzini's done something. Avanzini's taking a super wide line, but he's got a slingshot coming out of it. That was absolutely epic stuff. And, now it seems like his momentum has sort of stalled a bit. He can get into a side draft, but he does end up having to back out. So Van der Nesse is up to 14th now. Toft has started his last lap. We won't be too far away from making an extra lap, but we will come up about 15 seconds short, I think. This is the last lap they're heading onto. So Rannesse's got one of these drivers. He's got Avanzini, but he's not going to get anyone else. Ubertali under increasing pressure from Del Piccolo for P11. But I don't think there's going to be a change here. He has a slight look, but Ubertali has been fine these past 10 minutes. I doubt there's going to be any change in the order now. Eric saying that Agard's had crazy development. Agard's relative pace was actually 2k a month or two ago. But he has got much better since then.
What is your best track on iRacing?
I mean, Jackson, have you not been listening to the entire broadcast? I mean, that's all we've discussed.
It's tough. I'd say it's, yeah, Road Atlanta, I think, for me, because I was there for Petit Le Mans, and yeah, it's just a track I love on the sim as well. I think it's great. Sebring's fantastic.
Oh, Bokler and White's. They're rejoining.
They were the closest battle on track, for sure.
Oh, I think White's murdered Bokler and let him back past. Because he knew he was going to get a penalty otherwise.
Yeah,
I'm surprised White was close enough, honestly. I thought
he was 2-3 tenths, yeah. I was
okay.
going to mention it was the close battle on track.
Out in the lead, though, Jacob Tofts, who hasn't had too much to savour ever since that spin at Spa. Of course, he won back at VIR. It was looking like he could get 2 races in the first 3. He's had to wait a few weeks, but the Porsche driver is returning to the top step of the podium here at Suzuka. He rounds the final corner, and he wins here at Suzuka in the 127 machine. He beats Puozzi and he beats Yatortas. Porto will extend his championship lead. Bokler will beat White. Top of the Pro-Am drivers is going to be Hooper once again, who is looking dangerously quick in that class. Agard will finish top of the amateur drivers, and we wait to see if there's going to be any late change. I'm seeing a few changes. Sam Paoli has got past Avanzini right in the closing stages. He's moved up into 18th place. I wonder if Avanzini's struggling with fuel or something. Here is Agard. He will get another race win, beating Mola and Jacquet to the line.
Yeah, impressive stuff. I still think my favourite moment was picturing what Yatortas' face was when he pulled out of pits leading the race. But no, it was a good call from Tofts. I mean, he didn't make it easy for himself, but he won the race by 1.6 seconds doing it with those fresh boots. But it could have gone all differently. But yeah, very impressive win.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from him. And yeah, we will wait for the last few drivers to cross the line. But in the meantime, we'll go for a quick break. And when we return, we'll be back in the studio and we'll be chatting with our drivers from tonight. Welcome back to the Apex Racing TV esports studio. It is a second race win of the season for Jacob Tofts in the overall standings. And whilst he was under pressure for the whole time, it seemed like he was able to deliver whenever he was pushed. I mean, he was down to 3rd position at one point effectively, but he was very quick to move back up into the lead. And then once he was there, just maintain that gap. It was a very mature performance, very similar to what we saw at VAR.
Yeah, I mean, he got the pole and he made the strategic call for the tyres, which cost him the 2 positions essentially, but turned out to be the right call because the largest gap he built was at the end of the race. So yeah, all in all, a very strong, well-executed race from Jacob Tofts.
Absolutely was. Let's have a look at the final finishing results then from this round 7 of the season, the first round of the second half of the season. Tofts up ahead of Puozzi. Really good performance from Puozzi as well. Could see him take a bit of a step up. Of course, has already had some strong top 10 results this season. Yatortas in 3rd, Porter, Bokler, White in 6th place. Of course, there was a bit of a collision between the two of them in the closing stages down at the hairpin. Graman was in 7th place, then it was Caserta. Hooper was top of the Pro-Ams ahead of Rattiani and Ubertali, and it was Agard top of the amateur drivers. He was ahead of Merle. I think that's the 2nd race in a row actually that Merle's finished 2nd in the AMS. He was ahead of Burnt, who was in just his 2nd race of the season, I think was Thomas Burnt, so well done to him for securing a class podium right there. and yeah, the rest of the field will cycle through. But yeah, we have got the opportunity to have a chat with a few of our drivers, and well, I'll let you have first dibs, David, on who you'd like to chat with.
I will take Jacob Toffs. I'll drag him in. I think I've got permission. I do. Hello, Jacob. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
First of all, congratulations on the win, mate, and the pole position. And we're assuming the pit stop was 4 tyres.
It was, yes. I wasn't sure if it would be quicker to do that. I thought it would be close because of the amount of fuel we were taking, and I thought I'd risk it. So I definitely made it a bit harder for myself. So going back, maybe I wouldn't take 4 again and just 2 rear tyres, but it was still fun.
Yeah, no, I get you. No, it turned out to be the right call. Obviously, I think you only really lost to Poita on the following lap because of you battling with your tortoise. I think if you'd have stayed P2, you'd have both stayed ahead. But end of the day, it was the right call. You won by over 1.6 seconds, I think, in the end. So all round, all good call. And pole position, how did the Porsche feel? How did you find it at Suzuka?
Very on edge. Turn 1 was oversteer because of just the balance of the car with the engine. So you had to go forward on the brake bias, but everywhere else it was generally understeer. So you had to go backwards to get the car to rotate. So once I was in the lead, I didn't want to push and make a mistake. So I was just trying to keep a constant gap and make sure I was hitting my marks and staying in the lead.
Excellent. And was you actively fuel saving? Because we saw a couple of people go a lap longer.
I did a bit, but I knew I was going to be on edge with taking the tyres, so it wasn't worth saving too much.
Sure.
So I saved a little bit at the start, but once I had enough, then I didn't bother.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I suppose if you'd have fuel saved, then you'd have just been sat there doing nothing while your tyres are still waiting. So yeah, very good point. But no, yeah, congratulations on the pole, the win. Yeah, it's a very good points hold for the championship. I'm not sure what position that will put you. Maybe Sam will know.
Hopefully a bit higher.
Fifth?
Fifth.
I think
Fifth.
fifth.
He's guessing.
It'll be fifth.
He seems confident now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jacob, all around all, great stuff. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thank you to you guys, the organisers and the broadcast, as well as Cube Controls and Mag Performance.
Quite nice. All right, congratulations, mate. We'll catch up next week. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right, I will have a chat. I'm debating which of our class leaders, so we'll do it in order. Let's go Pro-Am next. Michael Hooper is joining us now. Michael, congratulations with that result. You've already won a couple of the Pro-Am races so far this season, but with such a strong result, that must be one of the most satisfying to win.
Hello, good evening. Yes, I'm very happy. I think I had 2 good qualifying laps right on a knife's edge. And yeah, I think at the start my lane got a bit lucky, so I could make up a few places and get a few pros between me and I think it was Mattia. And yeah, from there it was just I was happy to keep pace with a few of the pros. I was letting him a few by, so I could just get a draft and conserve tires and fuel. So in the end it worked out pretty okay. Only had a few scary moments in the Degner curve, so business as usual, I think. But yeah, very happy with the result, and I think it's going to be a tough rest of the season, but I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems to have been a really good form for you recently. Of course, unfortunately, Daytona didn't go fantastically last time out, but generally you're in a good run of form. Would you say you're starting to think about the championship now at this point? I mean, is that when you're racing, that's come into your mind in terms of maybe I'll be a bit safe with this maneuver, or do you think that's only going to take effect later on in the season?
I think we have to wait until the final 2 races. There's so much stuff that can happen in between, so I'm just currently taking it from race to race. I know I have a few weaker tracks, thinking of Aragon, I think. But yeah, I was pretty happy that iRacing decided to adjust the BOP a bit. So I'm looking forward to being competitive on the traditionally weaker tracks for the Ferrari. But yeah, I'm taking it race to race currently.
That is very good to hear. I think it's been serving you very well so far, and heading to Sebring, of course, next time out. Very bumpy circuit, quite a unique circuit. Do you think you're going to be going well over there?
I hope so. I haven't seen the pace of the others. I know I like Sebring. I would say it's one of my top 5 tracks. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting how the Ferrari stacks up against the rest. I know the Audi and Lamborghini will be pretty strong there. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you are able to repeat this good form next time out, Michael. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I know, because a few of my fellow Bear Pope members are currently at the Daytona 24 real life event. So I know they will be enjoying the race. I know they watched the stream, I think. So shout out to them. Have a good time, guys.
Awesome. I'm sure they will do. Sounds like a lot of fun, and yeah, hopefully they do make the most of the experience. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Michael, and best of luck at Sebring next time.
Yep, see you next time. Bye.
Michael Hooper, your winner in Pro-Am tonight. Then we've got one more interview to come.
AGOD?
Yes.
Excellent. Looking forward to chatting to him. Nicola, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Congratulations on another dominant display there in AM. Is this a track you enjoy?
Yeah, no, not actually. I started racing this track 3 days ago, and it didn't suit me very much. But apparently it maybe does. It was the race today was hella fun. I loved it. It was.
Oh, that's brilliant. You're driving the Audi, right? And you're what? We was talking about this a little bit on the broadcast, but you're mid to low 2K, performing very strong. Not an easy car to drive. This is not an easy track to drive. And yeah, your performances look well above your iRating. So yeah, that's got to be positive. Do you do a lot of officials, or is it more league racing for yourself?
No, I prioritize the league races, so officials kind of falls back. But no, I tested the Audi right before the new game, and that was very tricky to drive. But my buddy Eric Reset, he told me that I should try it. So after I tried it and the new game, it was a match made in heaven. I love the car now. It's absolutely
Excellent.
beautiful to drive.
Yeah, no, I enjoy this car as well. Lots and lots of rotation, good brakes. Yeah, great choice. So pit stop wise, was you saving fuel? Did you take 2 tires? What was your strategy?
No, I didn't take any tires actually. I was thinking about it, but maybe taking 2. But I dropped it, and I think that worked. I had Miller behind me almost the entire race, pushing me. So I didn't fuel save that much, but when I had the opportunity, I did.
No, excellent stuff. Yeah, very strong result, and I'm sure leading the championship in AM.
Yeah, and just extending the lead in the championship as well. So yeah, going to be a fair bit clear now at this point. So yeah, looking good.
Yeah, congratulations. Anyone like to give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to my team, Racing Lab Esports, and especially my buddy Eric for teaching me so much in the driving scene. I haven't driven more than 4 or 5 months, and he teaches me a lot. And to the sponsors, KTM, Lindström Motorsport Arena, CarX, and Azatec. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's an impressive time to pace ratio, if I'm right in saying a couple of months, 4 months sim racing, and you're at this level. That's impressive. Yeah, so I hope it goes well. Congratulations on the win in AM, and yeah, good luck on the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
Cheers. Thanks.
And so that was Nikolai Agard, our winner in the AM category. And yeah, to confirm about those championship points, he will be just ahead of Jonathan Cook now, with Cook having a poor round tonight. So still very much alive. That amateur category, maybe the most competitive of all the driver categories that we have this season. Next up then, of course, we've already discussed it, David, but we've got the Sebring coming up, but we've also got the return of the 2-race format as well. Back at Watkins Glen, I think that was the best meeting of the season.
Yep.
A lot of overtaking, particularly, you know, some bold overtakes. I mean, remember White's move on the outside of the bus stop. Similar stuff to that, do you think it's Sebring, or do you think it's going to be much more single file, tough to overtake, a bit like what we saw tonight?
No, Sebring will have it all. I think this is going to be great, especially if it's short race format, because it's you know, designed to push. You know, the drivers will be pushing us hard. Then we've got that reverse top 10, let's not forget, which is going to be all hella exciting into turn 1. And yeah, all the tight twisty stuff. It's going to be a good race. It's a brilliant track. Everything, even from pit entry, there's a lot to be gained. How you take the last corner to pit entry, if you practice it, there's time there.
Sure.
Unless you're an Audi and you drop the rear and you end up going in the pits backwards.
Well, we'll see who is getting some extra laps in. Maybe, you know, you can use it for Sebring 12 hours practice. There's going to be a build, I think, before that. But still, it's worth going for it and yeah, getting a little bit of extra prep. So we'll see what the pecking order is like next week when the series heads to Sebring. Remember, of course, we do have the late Apex that is coming up in probably 15-20 minutes, something like that. You can watch that on YouTube. You can also watch that on Twitch on Apex Racing TV, so do check that out. We've got updates when it comes to ACC and a lot of news when it comes to Apex Racing Team, and plenty of highlights as well from Apex Racing TV coming up as well. So do make sure to tune into that for in the next quarter of an hour or so. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel as well, because we've got much more racing coming up. I think we've got Radicals going on right now, but we've also got Weekend Warriors and the Spec Racer Ford and the Formula Ford cars as well on Sunday. We've also got the final round of Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup on Tuesday, and many other series as well coming up on the channel. So do make sure to subscribe and check out our social media platforms as well on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok and Twitter. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from David Sampson and everyone here at Apex Racing TV, we will say goodbye and we'll see you back for round 8 of the season in a week's time at Sebring. See you then. See ya.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.